implementation of sustainability initiative at Universiti Sains Malaysia. So before we start, allow me to remind you on few things to ensure the smoothness of our webinar today. Firstly, if you wish to ask a question, you may send your question in the chat box. Otherwise, since we are now in a Google Meet platform, you may click the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen to talk to the speaker to address your question. Or else, you can send in your question in the chat box at any time during the presentation. We will collect and address your question to the speaker during the Q&A session after the presentation by the speaker's end. And then link to the attendance form will be provided at the end of this webinar. So don't forget to fill yours for training hours. So I think we may start now, but then allow me to briefly explain brief information on Times Higher Education Impact Ranking. Well, basically, this is one of the ranking that UiTM also participated. And we have participated in this ranking for about 2 years, since 2020 and 2021. And the difference between THE impact ranking with other ranking is actually this ranking capture the university's impact on society based on UN Sustainable Development Goals. So, well, today we will learn from the best, the leading university, leading Malaysian university in THE impact ranking, Universiti Sains Malaysia. By the way, congratulations, Dr. Sai and USM, 3 years in a row being the Malaysian best universities in THE University Impact Ranking. So we really hope that you can share with us what are the initiatives implemented in USM, so that we can try to implement it in UiTM. And firstly, before we proceed, allow me to read brief biodata of our speaker today. Dr. Saidatulakmal Mohamad is currently the Director of the Center for Global Sustainability Studies and an Associate Professor at the School of Social Sciences, Universiti Sains Malaysia. She joined the university in 2005 upon completion of her PhD from the University of Birmingham, UK. Her main area of research is welfare economics, concentrating more on the well-being of older persons and social protection. Other areas that interest her include development economics, tourism, and heritage economics and public finance. She has been consulted on many occasions for the above-mentioned economics area by many organizations, which include the local government and agencies as well as international organizations such as the OECD Korea Policy Center, United Nations Research Institute of Social Development, Open Budget Partnership, Penang State Government and Economic Planning Unit. With that, you may start now, PM Dr. Saidatul Mohamad, and the screen is yours, Dr. Sai.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you so much, Dr. Norazian. First of all, thank you to UiTM for inviting me to share USM's experience with UiTM community. So my special thanks to Prof Zul for the kind invitation. So it's rather scary when Dr. Norazian said that to learn from the best USM. Although we are considered number 1 in Malaysia, but we are still scared because we feel that we still do not have much done with regard to sustainability agenda, and we are still pushing the sustainability agenda in USM. And I think I would like to also take this opportunity to congratulate UiTM for a great performance in PHE GIR 2021 for being the top 200 and one of the best SDGs for SDG 17. So congratulations UiTM for a remarkable achievement in the previous ranking exercise. So this is the topic that was given to me. It was given to me in Bahasa, so I'm just cutting and pasting it into this presentation. So it is basically sharing what we have in USM for the Global Impact Ranking 2021, and basically also to share what we have done in USM with regard to sustainability practices and sustainability agenda. So it's not that I'm going to share everything. So it's just highlighting the key points and the important aspects that we have done in USM. So it's not going to be a full 1 hour presentation. So perhaps maybe around 30 to 40 minutes, sharing you some of our activities and programs that we have in USM. So I shall start, Dr. Norazian. Okay, so this is my presentation outline. As I mentioned just now, a simple presentation to share with all of you what we have and what we have done. So it's just going to be three major points. So the first one is to provide a background about sustainability in USM, our vision, our journey, and our policies, as well as what we have done with regard to sustainability agenda. Number two is sharing some of our experiences on the execution of THEGIR, focusing on the governance, performance, and our focus. And finally, moving forward. So I think after this, it will be more of a Q&A session between me and the participants. When we talk about sustainability, so USM and sustainability are considered as something that is close to our heart. So sustainability is basically reflected in our vision and mission. It is not something new. It is not something that we created or something that we just started for the sake of the global impact ranking. So we have had sustainability in our vision and mission for quite some time. So if you see here, our vision is transforming higher education for a sustainable tomorrow. So we already have the word sustainable in our vision itself. So it's not only about today's education, but it's basically for tomorrow's education that it should be a sustainable one. And if you look at our mission, okay, our mission is USM is a pioneering transdisciplinary research-intensive university that empowers future talents and enables the bottom billions to transform their socio-economic well-being. So basically, in our vision and mission, we focus more about empowering the bottom billions, enhancing their well-being. So the bottom billions that we are talking about in our vision and mission not only focus and concentrate on students, but also on staff as well as community. And I think this is where I believe the USM community is proud of, that we have quite an excellent programs and activities with regard to community engagement. And we work a lot with the community to help them to enhance their well-being, at least in the process of transferring knowledge as well as skills. Later, I will show all of you some of the programs that we have done and conducted in USM with regard to reaching out to the bottom billions. So as you can see, our vision and mission already stated that sustainability agenda is part of USM. And because of that, USM has had one portfolio for the Deputy Vice Chancellor on sustainability and institutional development to enhance and to focus a lot on the execution of sustainability agenda at the university as well as at the community and regional as well as global level. So this particular portfolio has two branches. The first one is sustainability and the other one is institutional development. So with regard to sustainability, the Deputy Vice Chancellor chairs, we have what we call the Sustainability Council, the University Sustainability Council, to discuss matters with regard to sustainability agenda. And the DVC of SID is also responsible to oversee all programs and activities to enhance the well-being of the bottom 40. On top of that, we also have the Center for Global Sustainability Studies, CGSS. This is where I am now, although I'm from the School of Social Sciences, but now I'm leading the Center of Global Sustainability Studies. So this center was established in 2019 and we received the Center of Excellence status from the Ministry of Higher Education in 2015. So our main focus as a COE is to do research and advocate on sustainability. So we not only focus sustainability within our program, we have one program, one master's program that is Masters for Sustainable Development Practices that focus directly on sustainability. On top of that, we also coordinate one sustainability elective course for the university, and we execute a number of sustainability programs and activities in USM. Recently, we already conducted one program where we call Sustainability Month for USM, where we did a lot of activities, webinars, as well as awareness program with regard to sustainability. So these two portfolios, the DVC of SID as well as CGSS, with the assistance of USM community, staff and students, we all work together to uphold the vision and mission of USM with regard to sustainability. I will share with all of you a little bit about USM sustainability agenda. So you can see here, as what I mentioned earlier, sustainability has been part of USM for quite some time. So it all started in early 2000 to 2005 when we established three important centers as advocacy centers for sustainability. So the first one is C3, or Center for Education, Training and Research in Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. This is a collaboration between the German government as well as the ministry. And then we also have the Regional Center of Expertise, RCE, at Penang, USM. And importantly, we also have what we call Campus Sejahtera. Campus Sejahtera was formed, or basically is the idea of our then Vice Chancellor, Tan Sri Datuk Zul. So Campus Sejahtera actually coordinate all the sustainability programs and activities involving both students as well as staff. So we do not want our sustainability programs and activities to just be led by students or to just be led and organized by staff. So we want it to be a collective effort between the two. So that's why we call it Campus Sejahtera, to consolidate all the programs and activities by staff as well as by students. So it's also in 2018 that USM was awarded the APEX status. And I think this was the important milestone in USM with regard to sustainability. We had our APEX book and APEX agenda that upholds our sustainability programs and activities. It was also then, a year after we got and we received the APEX status, that CGSS was set up in 2009, as I mentioned just now, and we were awarded the Center of Excellence status by the Ministry in 2015. Later on, in 2013, we have placed ourselves as part of the global network to become a member of the Sustainable Development Solutions Network. And it was also then that we realized that to be champion in sustainability, we need to have a policy that governs all our efforts and all our agenda. So in 2014, we launched our policy on sustainability. And later in 2016, we launched our governance guidelines for sustainability best practices. In 2019, this was the time when we entered the UI Green Metric World University Ranking, and we were placed number 145. But we did not enter the UI Green Metric World University Ranking in 2020, but perhaps this year in 2021, we might be joining this ranking again. It was also in 2019 that we were recognized at USM, RCE Penang at USM was recognized for its innovative projects on education for sustainable development. So RCE Penang at USM is a center that focuses a lot on education for sustainable development, focusing on various SDGs, not only on SDG 4. So in 2020, we were ranked number 65 in the THE GIR ranking. And later in 2021, USM REDAC. REDAC is a center of excellence that focuses on water. So REDAC was awarded the UNESCO Chair on Eco-Hydraulics for Sustainable Water Infrastructures for SDG 6 in the Asia and the Pacific region by UNESCO. And of course, that journey does not stop there. And I think all of you are aware that in 2021, we are ranked number 39 in the THE Global Impact Ranking. So we continue to promote sustainability for a better tomorrow every year, and we tend to make sure that we realize our vision and mission that we have put forward. Here, I would like to share with you some of our policies and guidelines, as I've mentioned. So it started with our first USM APEC Sustainability Roadmap that was done after USM formed CGSS. So this one was a collaborative effort of CGSS and quite a number of experts in USM. So we have a sustainability roadmap to focus and to provide us with a specific planning and ideas about what we should do with regard to sustainability in terms of infrastructure, in terms of academics, community engagement, as well as research. So in 2014, we have come up with our policy on sustainability. Of course, now, starting 2020, we have started to revise the policy on sustainability because initially, when we created this policy, we only focus on water, environment, health, agriculture, and biodiversity. But now, in the 2021 revised version, we are focusing on the 17 SDGs. And later, to assist and help USM community in the execution of sustainability programs and activities, we have come up with governance guidelines for sustainability best practices in USM. So all this, every year, what we have done is we prepare SDGs annual reports to document all our sustainability activities and programs. So all these are reported in our annual report. At the same time, most of the activities and programs are basically showcased in CGSS website because I think all of you are aware with THEGIR, they are looking forward for an open data, making sure that all our information is available to the public, not only to the campus community. So we have all our programs and activities and infrastructure with regard to sustainability being showcased in our CGSS website. To assist us to monitor our sustainability agenda, what we have developed at CGSS is a system where we call World University Sustainability Assessment, or short form for WUSA. So what WUSA does is it measures the content of sustainability components in USM programs. And again, this year we have started to embark on updating WUSA to include the 17 SDGs. So what we have done, at least in 2015, we have measured the components of our programs to measure its sustainability components. So here I show you some of the examples. For example, Bachelor of Applied Sciences, we have measured that it has at least 27% of sustainability components. Bachelor of Science, 22%. Bachelor of Technology, almost 22%. And Bachelor of Social Sciences, also 20%. And we hope that in 2021, when we do a revision of this monitoring, the components of sustainability has been increased. And it has also been a mandate from the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and Internationalization that mentioned that most that the programs that we have, the courses, have to include a certain component of sustainability. So this is one way of monitoring that we have in USM to ensure that sustainability remains part and parcel of USM academic programs. So that is the background of what we have in USM with regard to sustainability agenda. Next, I'm going to share with you what we have done on the THE Global Impact Ranking. So for the THE Global Impact Ranking, what we have is we have formed a separate committee to oversee the progress and to monitor the performance of this ranking. So this ranking is basically a special ranking, different from other rankings, because this is one that we measure impact, and we measure impact not only on what we have done on campus, but also on what we have done outside campus. So this is a very good way for us to measure our performance indirectly, not so much to place ourselves in the top 50 or top 100 in the impact ranking. So what USM had done for the Global Impact Ranking is to form two committees. One is the main committee to focus on the policies, as well as serving as the advisor for the whole Global Impact Ranking assessment. And then we also have the working committee, the ones that are involved in the data collection, as well as ensuring that all the matrices put forward by the THEGIR are met. So for our main committee, the chairperson is the Vice Chancellor, and the co-chairperson is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation. So this committee was first formed in 2018 when we first started and entered the inaugural THEGIR. So the working committee, now the chairperson is the CGSS director, which is myself, and the members are the SDGs committee. So what we do is, of the 17 SDGs that are involved in THEGIR, every SDG we have elected one head or one leader, SDG head, and this SDG head is basically an expert in that particular SDG. And the SDG head then choose their members, the ones that they can work with, to help them with regard to the completion of the GIR assessment. On top of that, the working committee also have the secretariat from CGSS to help with the administration as well as the governance of the Global Impact Ranking. So you can see that CGSS as a Center of Excellence does not only focus on the normal research as well as academic, but we also have one wing of sustainability at USM that focuses on sustainability programs, as well as ensuring that the Global Impact Ranking is well taken care of. Okay, so this is our performance. So if you focus up here, USM focuses on score, not ranking. So we have been advised when we first started to join the Impact Ranking in 2018. The result was announced in 2019. We were advised not to focus so much on ranking, but to focus on score. Focusing on score means keeping up with what we have done with regard to sustainability programs and sustainability activities. And once we have enhanced our score, or basically enhanced our programs and our involvement in sustainability agenda, so the ranking will follow. Because ranking is not the ultimate goal when we want to measure impact. So I know what matters is whether what you have done actually impacted the community at large. So ranking will follow once you have improved your score. And in fact, there are many factors that affect ranking. You will see here, for example, in 2019, our score was 84.1, and during that time, there were only 450 institutions joining the inaugural THEGIR. So in 2020, we have improved our score by 2.2 percentage points from 84.1 to 86.3. So although our score have increased, but our ranking have reduced from number 49 to number 65. Mainly because there are many institutions joined, around 766. So if you look at ranking, you can say that, USM performed quite badly for 2020 because we have dropped in ranking. But what people don't see is that we have improved in terms of score, meaning that we have done quite an achievement with regard to executing our sustainability programs and agenda. So even with 766 institutions involved in the ranking, our score increased. So that's what we did. So we continue focusing on improving our programs and activities. And Alhamdulillah, in 2021, our score continued to improve from 86.3 to 90.5, an increase of 4.2 percentage point. So despite the increased number of total institutions, in terms of ranking, we have also improved from number 65 to number 39. So because when you improve on ranking, you would not know which direction you are going, because ranking is basically beyond your control. But if you focus on score, basically you know what you can control and you know what you can do with regard to improving which part of the SDGs or enhancing which part of the programs and activities. I believe all are aware about the categories of SDGs. So we have 4 categories. So we have stewardship, academic, research, and outreach. So with regard to academic, it says we take it as it is, although the academic centers actually try to enhance the academic programs year by year. But these are the things that is beyond our control, basically beyond the control of the committee. Our focus basically concentrate more on research as well as outreach. I will show all of you in a while what are the things that we have done with regard to research and outreach. Stewardship is basically based on the involvement of our academics and researchers with regard to institutions, NGOs, as well as collaboration with government agencies. So as I've mentioned, what is important with regard to this is important. So we want to make sure that everything that is included in all these categories are reported. So it's not easy to have things reported, because if things are not reported, it's just very difficult for us to measure impact. How do we know that we have improved over the years? And I think this is where the impact rankings come in, for us to keep track on what we have been doing over the past years and whether we are actually improving with regard to our performances in all of these categories. I believe all of you are aware as well about the SDGs keywords for publications. Yeah? So with regard to research, although Global Impact Ranking says that research is taken directly from SBIO as well as corpus publication, but it's not something that we cannot control and we cannot monitor. So one way is to ensure that the keywords for the publications are being used and being referred to. And these are the keywords that we have informed our researchers. And we inform them so that they are aware when they want to write a paper, at least use some of the keywords to reflect their SDGs. Because the way the papers are being counted is if they have the keywords that represent certain SDGs, that particular paper will be counted as publication in that SDGs. This is an example of the keywords for SDG 3. So the greatest word is basically human. So, and then you have middle age, child, control study, non-human, drug, diabetes, smoking, mental disease, mental health, physician, cancer. So these are the words that our researchers can use as part of their keywords to ensure that their publications will be counted towards the THE impact ranking. Because this is something that we don't count. This is not something that we input in the THE GIR system. Yeah? That is research. With regard to outreach, I'm going to share some of the programs that we have done in USM of 3 SDGs that we believe are our top SDGs. So basically SDG 1, SDG 3, as well as SDG 16. Yeah? So let's start with SDG 1, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. So most of our programs are basically a continuous program, although we also have some programs that are ad hoc. And I believe that we are proud about our outreach program not only to USM community but also to the outside community as well. And some of these programs actually have benefited, and we have managed to tie back the programs with our vision and mission. So for example, one of the programs that we have launched was a student food bank. So basically, the student food bank is a food bank that benefits USM B40 students. So you can see in 2019, we have extended the program to 440 B40 students. So this is a continuous program that the B40 students can continue receiving benefit from the food bank. Another one is our loan facility for assisting students with their studies as well as with their living expenses. So what we have is we have the programs by various agencies. So we have by the USM Foundation or USM USM. We also have programs by USM Wakaf and Infak Zakat officers, as well as student affairs program to assist B40 students, especially now during COVID-19 when people are in need of financial assistance. So this is again a continuous program that we have that assists our USM students, the B40 groups, to ensure that they can continue progressing in their academic studies, in their life, and to make sure that they are not excluded from the day-to-day living. Another one that we have done is local startup assistance. It is a program through I Know 4C under our Community Engagement Office. This is an initiative that we have done with community in Kampung Bulunge, Lundu, Sarawak. So this is a program that we help the B40 communities over there and help them to generate income as well as to enhance their life and well-being. That's for SDG 1. Next is for SDG 3. So SDG 3 is not only with regard to continuous health monitoring, okay, because SDG 3 is ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So we also involve programs and activities on infrastructure as well as assistance and aids for the needy. So one program under our health outreach programs, this is under our Disability Transformation Unit of the School of Health Sciences. So what we had done is we collaborated with Raja Nagarinda Institute of Child Development in Thailand that provide assistance to the disabled population, and one of them is the modification of the wheelchair based on the needs of the disabled people. Another one that is a universal program to everyone is our Mentari at USM program, providing mental health services and psychosocial rehabilitation to all USM staff as well as students. So we care about USM staff, and we also care about the USM community. So I think mental health has gained a lot of attention, not only on the local level, but also at the global level, that people are now taking seriously about mental health issues. Finally, sharing with you what we have done for SDG 16. So SDG 16, USM is placed number 8 in the world. So this is one of our top SDGs with score of almost 90%. Yeah? So here under SDG 16, we have Yayasan USM. So Yayasan USM is basically a corporate body that help to support and uplift the mission and vision of USM. So this is what we have in USM to provide financial assistances to the bottom billions and all Malaysians. So it's not only for USM staff and students, but also extended to everyone in the country to ensure that the bottom 40 groups are empowered and to make sure that they are not being sidelined in the development of the country. So these are some of the programs that we have in USM to support our sustainability agenda. Of course, we have some other programs for other SDGs as well, but here I'm just sharing you the highlights of some of the events and some of the activities that we have, either ad hoc or a continuous program. So how do we report this for our THEJIR? Because everyone does lots of things. Every agency, every department, every PTGs, even every researchers and students are involved in some form of collaborative effort with regard to sustainable development goals. So what we have done in 2020 is we have incorporated SDGs in our reporting of our assessment, our appraisal. So we have a system called HCMS. So every year, all academics have to fill in this form, reporting their achievements for that particular year. So what we have done is we have added one part on the global impact ranking. So whatever activity that they have done, they have to decide whether that activities fall into which category of which categories of SDGs. So we have done this for research, for community engagement, stewardship, and some other categories. So this is how we actually measure as well as report our staff involvement towards any part of the Sustainable Development Goals in USM. And as because THEJIR require open data, we also ask if, for example, the activities that they have reported or the researchers have reported are showcased in any kind of platforms, let it be Facebook, YouTube, or just website, or any newspaper articles for that matter. So we ask them to inform us the URL or basically the page in which their activities appear. So apart from making sure that we monitor their progress towards RUSA, this system is basically for individual reporting. We just want to see and analyze on whether our activities and programs are in line with certain type of sustainable development goals targets. So this is so when the results are announced, so usually what we do is we do our postmortem. So every year we do postmortem without fail, and every year as well we provide our SWOT analysis, our strength, our weaknesses, our opportunities, as well as our threats. And in fact, now we are in the process of doing our postmortem for the 2021 results. So you can see that USM enters all SDGs from SDG 1 to SDG 17. Although at one point there was an idea to just focus on certain SDGs, I think after just 3 years of exercise, we are still grappling about stating or identifying our strength. Which SDG is USM strong at, or which SDG that we are mostly empowered in performing. So we still unsure about that. So that is why we keep on doing SWOT analysis, not only to meet the target of global impact ranking, but also to make sure that we continue improving our sustainability agenda. So once we have done our postmortem analysis, we will then outline our strategies to basically improve the weaknesses that we have for certain SDGs. Maybe it's on infrastructure, enhancing infrastructure, especially when we talk about SDG 11, 12, and 13. So most of these SDGs are focusing on infrastructure. So what can we do moving forward to improve our infrastructure? So with regard to maybe SDG 8 and SDG 10, it's perhaps more focused on our policies. So what policies are we lacking that we need to further improve? And then once we have done that, we will present to the top management and start working on that for that particular year until the cycle for the next ranking comes in. So this is our normal cycle. So we start as early as the result was announced, and we did analysis and comparison of our performance against all the top universities in the world and see where we lack with regard to certain matrices. We don't focus on what we are strong at, because basically what we lack, what we are lacking, and what are the opportunities that we can do to improve our performance and to improve our sustainability agenda. So this is what we have done with regard to global impact ranking. So the process is very exhausting. It's a yearly agenda that CGSS has to work with the help and assistance with the SDG committees. And this will not be a reality without the commitment of everyone. And that is what I want to emphasize in the final slide. So basically, the key to success with sustainability agenda is everyone's commitment. It's commitment to ensure that we have the proper infrastructure, commitment to ensure that we have the engagement of everyone, commitment to ensure that we have the funding required to execute all these programs and activities. And not only that we need commitment from the top management, but we also need commitment from researchers as well as administrative staff. And most importantly as well, we need the support and the involvement of the students to making sure that whatever programs that we have done with regard to sustainability are practiced not only at the USM level, but also at the community level. So that was the main objective of our Sustainability Month that just finished in April 2021. So our goal is to make sure that the sustainability practices continue to be adapted and adopted by everyone. So it's not about USM being known for the top universities, among the top universities on sustainability, but making sure that this commitment is realized at every level of the USM community. So that is also a challenge. It's not easy to have everyone's commitment, but actually people have been involved with sustainability. It's just that sometimes they are not aware that they have done it and they have been involved in it. So it's not easy to make sure and to ask everyone to use the keywords that have been said. It's not easy also to ask everyone to report their activities on SDGs, but we try our best to make sure that everyone is committed for the good of the impact of sustainability agenda. And I think that's how I end my presentation, my sharing session with UiTM community on what we have had and what we have done in USM. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dr. Norazian.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sai, for an inspiring and very informative presentation. Or maybe I can call this as a sharing session. So, well, actually, this is our my second time hearing your presentation, because last year we went to USM for a benchmarking visit. Last year we went for physical meeting, but then this year kita buat virtual.
Yep.
So masih lagi kita impressed dengan what USM has done. So we are actually following your advice. Just send as many data as you want, then only you can know which SDG that you scored best. So that's what we did. Then we did a postmortem from the previous result. Then we only focus on the SDG that we think we are good at that time. So thank you very much, Dr. Sai. So maybe before I take the questions from the chat box, I believe, of course, this is not an overnight process. So if you don't mind, Dr. Sai, maybe you can share with us about the SDG 16, because USM ranked at 8th place globally. So 8th place in the world for SDG 16, peace, justice and strong institution. Maybe you can share what has USM done to score best in this SDG?
If you recall, SDG 16 looks at students involved in law courses. So we have a number of courses on law-related programs. So we have our forensic science. Yeah, so these are the things that we have included as part of our number of students involving in our law-related classes. And then we also, SDG 16 also asked if we have an open channel with regard to discussing political issues. And it just happened that during that year, in 2019, we had one forum on democracy. So we included, we involved and we invited Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya to come to USM and to have all these activities. And we are open, we have open channel for students as well as outsiders to debate on political matters, and we have that in USM. And that is part of the things that have included to SDG 16. And also, our publication related to SDG 16 is also one of the highest. We scored around 90% over for our publication, as well as for our, actually we scored 90% in all the matrices for SDG 16 because we covered most of the questions and most of the matrices in terms of student involvement, programs, as well as research. So that's why we are somehow top in SDG 16.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sai. And then one more thing that captured my mind is that you did mention that there's an added component in yearly appraisal about the SDG. So does this added component will influence the yearly assessment of the staff in terms of their individual marks and also the performance? Meaning to say that if they do not involve at all with these SDG related things or whatsoever, does it will affect their individual marks, or it is just an added value to their marks, or maybe for promotion?
No, nothing like that. Because it's just to report their engagement and involvement and link them to the SDGs. So that one was not captured at all for their appraisal or for their promotion. Nothing. It's just a way for us to find, because when we first started and we were thinking, how can we gauge and how can we collect information on their activities that are related to SDGs? So we wonder, so what is the best platform that does not require extra work for USM staff? So the best way is the system that we have. So in fact, anyway, every year we have to fill in the form and we have to upload all our evidences in the system. So then we thought, why not put an extra button, and when you have uploaded all your evidences, just tell us this evidence is related to which SDGs. That's all. Yeah. So that at least this system is reachable to everyone in the university. So no one is excluded, and you don't have to do extra work. Not that you have to log in into a different system and and to fill in extra information, because what is
a matter of declaring what you did.
Yes.
It is good. So at least it helps a lot because it is difficult to collect the data from everyone because not every evidences is open.
True.
And because sometimes we do not know they're being appointed by agencies, sustainable agencies, and so on.
Yeah, especially the stewardship, because stewardship is individual performance, individual preparation. So that is difficult for us to capture. But if we talk about programs conducted by PTJs or programs conducted by certain associations or groups, that one is easier because that one you have all this announcement on Facebook and social media. But if I'm involved with, if I'm being appointed as a advisor to certain agency, I will not go and advocate to everyone.
Publish it openly.
But I will report it for my appraisal as well as for my promotion. So that's how we thought of just incorporating an extra button for them to tell us which of these relates to SDG. So later we can see how we can use the information.
Alright, and this is a good idea, actually. Thank you very much, Dr. Sai. And then maybe I can take up one question from Professor Madia Fairoz. What is USM's income demographic profile like? And how many percentage is made up of B40? And which category does the majority of USM staff and students fall into? This is, I think this is related to SDG number 1, poverty.
Actually, majority of our students fall within the B40 groups, majority. And a recent study done by our Vice Chancellor himself when he first joined in, and a majority of our staff, also falls within the B40 groups, unfortunately. And I think because when you talk about B40, now the income of the B40 basically a bit higher, okay? So that makes a lot of people actually falls between that income group. So a majority of our students are from the B40 groups. That is why lots of programs that we have in USM are focusing on enhancing their well-being. So remember when we first had COVID-19 and we had to turn and switch everything from face-to-face to online learning, okay? So we were worried whether our students are able to be involved and participate in online learning. And I think USM had done remarkably well in ensuring that our students get assistances and help with regard to internet data, with regard to the equipment that require for online learning. And so to answer that question, yes, a majority of our students are from the B40 groups. And in fact, because we are public universities, and that's where all the students come from.
Okay, talking about COVID-19. Sorry, Dr. saya terbanyak. Okay, talking about COVID-19. Do you think that for this year we have to submit the data for 2020, which is 2020 is a year of COVID-19. So, in your opinion, do you think that this will affect our outreach program? Because knowing during the COVID-19, we have MCO 1.0, 2.0, and then PKP, PKPB, PKPD, and so on. All those P was involved. And then do you think it will affect our data in terms of outreach? Because we cannot go to the community. Everything that we are doing now is through online, and of course, during the early PKP, we are still get used to a new norm to this situation. So, from your opinion, does it will affect the data to be submitted for this year?
It depends, because if your programs are continuous programs, I don't think it will affect your data collection or your data reporting that much. But if most of your programs are ad hoc, then that would be affected. Because, like, for example, like what I've shown you for SDG 1, then the food bank, that is a continuous program that we have. So whether we have MCO or not, that program continues. And a lot of us are still involved in community engagement with the public. And but of course, we are creative in doing it, mostly with line, and telephone calls and all that. And if you remember, this MCO is somehow intermittent as well. There are a few times when we are able to reach out and go out and community. So during that time, even CGSS made full use of the time that we were able to reach out to the community. So we did quite a lot of programs during that period of time. And then once we are not allowed to go out, and we change our nature of work to online platform. So as long as your programs are continuous, then it should not be a problem. So that is why I think in USM what we have done is we try our best to make sure that the programs are continuous programs, and the programs can be realized and can benefit the community, not just at one point, but making sure that it is a continuous program. So I think you know that whatever programs that you have done last year or 2 years ago, if it's still active, you can still report that particular program as providing the impact to the community. So the danger is when you have an ad hoc program. So you do 1 year and then you stop. So when you have MCO and you are unable to reach to the community, that's when you have the problem of making sure that your programs reach the intended participants.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Dr. Sai. And one more question from Dr. Siti Iqbal Saleh. Marvelous sharing on the sustainable journey of USM. I am interested with your campus sejahtera notion. So what is the most significant movement or campaign during your leadership that drive this good intention? Yeah.
Okay.
Because sorry.
Campus Sejahtera was once under CGSS. Yeah, I mean, Campus Sejahtera is one of the strengths of sustainability and USM. When it was placed under CGSS, we had a lot of students advocating our program, our activities. And one of the most prominent activities are activities with regard to recycling, water management, Earth Hour, quite a number of programs. And later, when I became the director of CGSS, we then transfer Campus Sejahtera directly under DVC SID office so that the Deputy Vice Chancellor is able to monitor the performance of Campus Sejahtera. And now Campus Sejahtera has a new coordinator. I think one of the excellent part that was done with Campus Sejahtera is they have already appointed sustainability officer for every BTGs. So there is one sustainability officer for every BTG that is responsible to advocate sustainability agenda at the BTG level. So we want, as what I mentioned to you just now in my presentation, the most difficult part of sustainability is ensuring the commitment and ensure that the practices of sustainability is being done by everyone. So this is the role of the sustainability officer in every BTG, to make sure that we are able to advocate and promote sustainability agenda at the BTG level. So CGSS will oversee at the macro level. Campus Sejahtera will try to monitor the performance at the micro level. So we have that good collaboration between CGSS and Campus Sejahtera, because it's rather also difficult to control everything when we are not centered that focus only on sustainability programs. And I think UiTM is better with that regard because you have a special unit just to focus on that, kan? But we don't have.
At the moment, we have IBSD, Institute for Biodiversity and Sustainable Development, organizing this webinar, and we also have UiTM Green Center, UGC. So both is responsible to implement all the sustainability initiative within campus. So one more thing, one more from Dr. Siti Iqbal. Okay, the establishment of USA and integrating the sustainable component in the curriculum is not an overnight process. So based on your experience, how long does USM take to successfully inculcate this component in your academic program? This one, if I can remember that last year, Dr. Sai mentioned that USM ada one of the university courses is related to SDG, if I'm not mistaken, kan? So that is part of it, is it?
No. Because we have one sustainability course that is an elective course for all undergraduates. Okay,
I see. Okay,
yeah, but we also, I think this is a very long process. I'm not sure. Like for example, in USM, whenever you want to introduce a new program or a new course, you have to fill in a form. We call it a BPK. So in the BPK, we explain all our course outlines and all assessment and all this. So it's just recently, I think 2 years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, that we start to have the SDG components in our BPK. So meaning that, lecturers have to identify in their course what SDG components are involved. And in fact, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic during that time have also informed everyone that courses for every particular program have to have at least certain percentage of sustainable development goals, the sustainability components in every of the courses. So this is a very long process because it's not easy for people to incorporate sustainability in their courses. and to also make people understand what is SDG 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 17, and how they are related to their courses is also a very long process. So we have that. In addition to the undergraduate courses that we have on sustainability, and we also have a minor course on sustainability. So that is a specific course on sustainability. On top of that, all the courses in USM have to have some sort of sustainability component.
I see. Okay. So it seems like UiTM we still have a long journey, but then we wish USM good luck, and please also pray us luck, because we are trying our level best to be maybe among of the top 50. Oh, nah, tu dia.
Yeah, I mean you all are all. UiTM is doing extremely well. I think from top 400.
Well,
yes,
based on this sharing session from you.
for this year you did extremely well. From top 400, you jump all the way to top 200, placing UiTM at the same level of other RUs, kan? And your SDG 17 is the best, kan? In Malaysia, kan? In fact, you bypass USM pun.
Sikit lah, 0 point something, 0 point.
Yeah, I think UiTM is doing extremely well, and I think you have put in a lot of commitment. And of course, it's not an overnight process, kan? You don't turn everything in one go.
We are actually still in the process of finding the best SDG that we are good at.
Yes.
But then slowly now, okay lah, we try our level best to. As what you said, do not focus on the ranking, but then focus on the score. From the score, then you will know which SDGs that you are doing good.
So what are the top SDGs? What are the top 3 SDGs of UiTM?
We are doing good at 1, quality education, and also the gender equality. 4 and 5, and of course 70 lah, because it is a mandatory SDG. And thank you very much, Memang Dr. Sai. We learned a lot from you from our benchmarking visit last year. And from there also, we have before this, during our first year of participation, we do not have any sustainability report. So last year we managed to publish, and then as what you have shared with us last year, buat je report tu, as long as ada report. Betul. As long as report je apa-apa pun, janji ada report. So that was what we did last year. As long as we have the sustainability report, then it helps a lot. And that's why as our SDG 17 agak mencanak sikit lah for this year, because
tak banyak, bukan sikit tu.
because last year we are at 601 plus SDG 17. This year alhamdulillah 2 digit lah. But then maybe after this we will come out with the policy, same like USM, which is USM ada sustainability policy. We do have a policy, but then kita tak ada lah in one report ataupun policy book like what USM have. So maybe that one kita akan cuba lah tu, tapi kita memang ikut lah USM cakap kena ada report lah, okay kita buat report.
Yeah, that's what we did as well at the first, kan? We just submit a report, kan? But then after that we started to refine it, kan?
Yes.
Nanti, kan? So this year cantik.
Thank you very much for IBSD. Thank you very much for IBSD. And also our UiTM Green Center, they also has come out with their sustainability report 2019. So we have 2 reports altogether in 2019, and that was what we submitted last year for SDG 17. And alhamdulillah that report scored 100% last year. Syukur alhamdulillah tu. But then thank you untuk UGC so IBSD.
We saw UiTM ni terror betul ni kat SDG 17.
Thank you very much to you. But then of course tak boleh lah nak beat USM lagi 3 years in a row number 1.
We are really scared because when you are already there somehow, kan, to maintain
to be in the ranking is a different thing. To maintain the ranking is the scariest thing.
This is a very big challenge to all of us. And in fact, we are still trying to improve our SDG sustainability programs and commitment kan. So
Okay.
because as what you have mentioned, a lot of things happen kan to get the commitment of everyone and making
Yeah.
sure that the programs are continuous. So even though we have quite a number of continuous programs, the sustainability of the program is also a challenge kan. Making
Yeah.
sure that it keeps on running, the funding is there, there are people working towards it. It has always been a challenge to
This is not a one-man show, and commitment is the best word to say lah, because without everybody's commitment, then semua tak boleh nak buat pun. So commitment kita from the staff itself, from the student, from the management. So we really need support, not only from the top management, of course from all the warga. So basically there's no more question in the chat box. Okay, so Dr. Sai, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Thank you very much for still sharing with us USM's journey. I wish USM good luck for your agri-matric and also for and also for GIR. Tak apa. And also for GIR for this year, the data collection will be open somewhere in September, if I'm not mistaken. So good luck to us.
Good luck to all of us, to
Yeah.
UiTM. I think
Good luck to USM also. Good luck to all of us. And to the participant, the link for attendance form has been posted in the chat room. So please fill in yours for training hours. It will be open for only 30 minutes. And on behalf of Institute for Biodiversity and Sustainable Development, UiTM, thank you very much, Dr. Sai. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending today's session. And have a great rest. Please stay safe and please stay at home. Oh, kita ada Prof Zul. Prof Zul, maybe you have what's to say before kita end the session?
Dr. Sai, thank you very much on behalf of UiTM for the great talk, your sharing. And then I'd like to thank for having us last year. So you give a lot of difference to us, Dr. Azian, Dr. Impak, and then we come together with Norazian. And then congratulations to USM for 39 place in the world.
39 place this year. Yep.
So we hope we can behind you lah.
Jangan potong kita, Prof. Zul. Let us be one step ahead.
So thank you for your time hari ni, Dr. Sai. I know that you have a busy schedule. Then just sikit lah, Dr. Sai. You have the monthly punya sustainability month yang you have a lot of programs yang I see very packed. So how you accommodate all the programs? Actually student also involved kan?
Betul. Actually for the sustainability month, we did it for 1 month kan, 1 month lebih sikit lah. Yes, it's very packed, lot of programs, but we collaborated with many departments. So we collaborated with a number of departments, a number of schools, with Campus Sejahtera, with unit of unit latihan, with some desa. So we collaborated with a lot of people. That's how we managed to work together. So our committee is large, I think kita kan suka form committee kan. So our committee is huge, huge committee. And not only from CGSS but from other departments as well. So that's how we managed to successfully conduct the sustainability month. And because otherwise, because if it's just CGSS organizing it, it's going to be a small scale program. So that's why we have to have the collaboration and collaborative effort from everyone in USM. So and we plan to do another one, Prof. Zul, in October tau. We plan to do at a even larger scale.
Tak nak collaborate dengan UiTM?
Jom kita buat.
Kan, make the community larger.
Because although people are now getting more aware kan about sustainability, but the actual content of sustainability tu is still sometimes misunderstood kan, what is required for SDG 1, SDG 6 and all that. So perhaps we also need some form of better awareness program, kan? Not only to USM community but also to the community at large. So we will try to have another one, Prof, and try to do lah and see how.
We try to follow your step. Nampak sangat.
Jangan follow sangat, Prof.
Kita follow rapat-rapat je sekarang ni.
Takut. Actually we are very scared, Prof. Prof Zul, kita takut kan. Every day tu mesti takut berdebar-debar je kan.
Yeah, because you have very large community members, and then you have the campus chapter. Is it a unit in USM? You have the UGC, I think very similar to campus chapter lah.
Betul, Prof. I agree with that.
And then we try to give awareness to all our community lah, especially in UiTM. So thank you very much again, Dr. Azian, for being a very good moderator for today's program, and also Dr. Saidatulakmal from USM, our sifu lah in terms of sustainability in Malaysia. So we hope we can collaborate and work together, Dr. Sai, at national level, insyaAllah. So thank you very much all the participants. So that's from IBSD and on behalf of UiTM. So thank you all. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Prof Zul.
Thank you, Prof Zul. Thank you very much, Dr. Sai again. And also thank you very much to everyone here for attending this webinar. So stay safe, everyone. Stay at home. Don't go out because got virus outside. Itu yang I selalu cakap dengan my kids lah. Don't go out, got virus outside. So thank you very much, Dr. Sai. So see you again. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much all. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Dr. Sai.
Thank you, Dr. Sai.